Oh, we got Jamie here who just got. What did he just do?
Second place at the ARG Circuit Series in Birmingham. Went 4-1, 4-1-1 before cutting the top 8. Lost in the finals to Minerva Turbo. I couldn't do anything. When he opens the stones with the Toad and Bahamut and the Minerva King Feral, and I think he made an Emerald too. Couldn't overcome the board.
All right, what were you playing?
I was playing Ariadne Metalfoes.
All right.
So, just with the deck, you run the standard 15 Metalfoes monsters, the Volflame, Gold Driver, Silvered, and Stealing, and the rare Bismugear.
All right.
The 3 Archfiend Eccentrics, too good of a card not to play. It allows me to pop my combinations, pop back row for my opponent if I have to.
Did you ever use it to pop Ariadne?
Usually when I had this with the Ariadne, I just leave it at scales. Bring out anything other like Kieran, Gold Driver, so forth.
All right.
Plus this, I like its pedal effect where it's like you don't have to pay life points. So most of the time, if I had these two, I would have a strike or a warning to follow up with it.
All right.
3 Gofus. You gotta play it. It's too good of a card. I use this a lot for defense. So a lot of times if I open Gofu, I'd still special it and then get my 2 tokens. Then that usually I would set a few back row and just hope for the best.
All right.
Turned out well in round 2. 3 Bambukus. Why wouldn't you play it? Especially if you're running a 1 Kieran to go with it. Kieran's too good if you have that in Alkahest. Then 3 Ariadnes and the Luster Pendulum. Very often I got this and this at the same time. A lot of times I ended up with Metalfoes Monster and Ariadne a lot of the times. So this was pretty much how I stole a bunch of game once Sunday, and it was just I wouldn't change this for anything at the moment.
Did anyone ask you about paying life points for Ariadne?
Yes. Round 1 and round 5, someone asked life point confusion, and I pointed over to the Ariadne, and they realized at that point that the way they were playing was bad because they were just trying to push for remainder of damage, what they thought of. I believe it's 29 monsters. You want to see 5 monsters for each one. I've ran so many. Spells, I ran the 2 Painfuls. A lot of people are playing 3. 2 I feel like is fine because more than likely one's going to get banished off of Desires. So 2 Painfuls, 2 Pots, 3's too many. 1's not enough. We're just in that weird situation. I don't want to open up. I don't want to draw this off of Desires.
Were any of your Desire bans any bad?
No.
No? Alright.
I think one game I banished all 3 Bismugears, but other than that, it wasn't bad. My Ariadnes were still alive. Most of the time, I played this after I did all my searching. Then I played with 3 fusions, 2 quick plays and 1 of the regular. This just reshuffles it back, and then these I bounce with Mithrilium.
So why 2 Full Metal?
Consistency. I wanted to see them. I felt like if I ran 3, I would open up with 2. The only time I opened up with 2 of these was my round 3 opponent, game 3. I lost because of it. I opened these 2, an Ariadne and a Dead Trap. So it was just, there was no point in trying to play. I think I opened System down too. It was an ABC matchup.
All right.
I think it's 9 spells. And then for the traps, the Solemn Brigade.
And that's this area with us.
Steals so many game 1s because they weren't expecting me to search with Ariadne for it. The 1 Vanities is too good not to play. And then the trap lineup, I played 2 combinations and a counter. I noticed while testing that I could use both of these at the same turn and get my scales and then just set a counter to follow up with it. Because a lot of players they're threatened by Mithrilium, but once they get it off the board, I just activate counter. I was able to bring out Volflame. I brought out a Bismugear, and they destroyed it, and I got a search. So it was really, it really helped out a lot. I wasn't expecting it to play this. I just kind of threw it in last minute.
All right, so why no Rescue Rabbit?
With Rescue Rabbit, I felt like it wasn't a good combination with the Ariadne because you wanted to be able to pop your Ariadnes, your combinations, and your other scales. And if you try to waste a normal summon with a rabbit, I just don't feel like that's the most beneficial summon for this build. A lot of times when I would make my boards, I would leave the Ariadne just for them to pose a threat, to make them think I had another counter trap in the deck, or I would use it to make Utopia or Utopia Lightning.
Did anyone ever pop Ariadne from your scale?
Yes. Round 4, I believe my opponent, I think he MST'd the Ariadne, and I told him, I was like, I'm going to activate Ariadne's effect, and he's like, what does Ariadne do? Because he didn't know that the effect of the card, he thought I would get the pendulum, but not so forth.
Alright.
It's a 44 card main. I wouldn't change it. It's just, I like this build. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. I know Billy just topped Euro YCS with Monolith and such. I don't like that build, honestly, but it's whatever.
Alright, so let's see the extra deck now.
Alright, for the extra, Mithrilium at 3, best card in the deck. It's what makes it as fast as it is. Bounce quick plays, bounce a scale. A lot of times I'd bounce a scale just to pop an Ariadne to search for another counter trap. A lot of people are playing one of this guy. I'm playing 2. Reason why, I'd much rather, let's say I had to use this early on and if I can't get to this, because there's been instances where I just couldn't get to a Mithrilium, which was weird all weekend. I think I made double Alkaheist one time. This one got destroyed, or I used it for a fusion. Brought out this guy, stole another one. I did it in the ABC matchup. I had this that was immune to monster effects, and it just stayed on board until I could establish the regular Metalfoes fusion that I drew to make a Mithrilium.
So will you cut down to 1 or keep it at 2?
I'm going to keep it at 2 for right now, unless I just have a need that I need to put just take one out. It'll be that ratio. And then the other 2 you play is the Ori Hulk and the Adamante. You know the reason why we played this. This actually won me a game alone, round 1. Round 1, game 3, ABC versus, Ariadne Metalfoes. He was down to 400. I was down at like 1,000. I drew a Metalfoes monster while I had a GoFu token, and I activated the quick play fusion that I had set, brought out Adamante, and attacked Photon Thrasher for game.
Alright.
So that was the only time I actually did something besides synchro it for Tzolk'in. Synchros. I played this guy, never made him. Never wanted to make him. I wanted this card to be Scrap Dragon.
Why did you choose him over Scrap Dragon, though?
Well, it was last minute. I thought, this card will probably be useful as many matchups I'd go up against. So I thought, okay, I can use this to pitch my Dead Lusters, and turns out I didn't play a single Metalfoes matchup. Yeah, no Metalfoes.
Alright.
This card needs to be Scrap Dragon. That's the only change I've got right now. Omega, too good not to run. It's pretty much how I won my game 2 in round 1 and a few other matchups. I love this card. There's not much more to say about it. The only other 2 cards I played for the Tzolk'in is the Gnister and the Crystal Wing. Too good. When I was playing the ABC guy round 5, excuse me, he had the Empowerment monster in scale, and I brought him out, and he forgot that I could just use his scale to target it and spin the Tsukiyomi on board.
Oh, yeah.
Then I played the Tzolk'in.
To get them out, alright.
And then for the Exceeds, I played a Break Sword and the Utopia package.
Alright.
I wanted to get stuff like Anti-Spell out of the way, which is the reason why I kept the Break Sword. And then for the Utopia package, just anything big, like Chaos, Blue Eyes Chaos Max and such.
How many times was Anti-Spell flipped on you?
Let's see. I had about 8 times. I never had the chance to bring this out, or if they had Anti-Spell, I already established a board with counter traps and such, to where that Anti-Spell didn't really matter. I would bring out I'd bring out Gold Driver, run over whatever I had to, or if I was going up against Paleozoic, I'd bring out Genzo. It's just at that point, game 2 was when I had to slide in my MSTs and such, and then if I couldn't get to break sword, then I would probably just I'd try to aim for the MST or anything like that. I didn't make any exceeds this weekend. I didn't have a need to. I felt like I had such control over the game that I didn't have to.
All right.
So for the side deck,
All right.
2 Max Cs, standard. 2 Retaliating C, never sided this in. Never went up against Metalfoes, so there was no point.
All right.
2 Genzos was my MVP for the top cut. It pretty much secured me my game 3 win that I shouldn't have won, but
Against Wes.
Technicality, and it just was unfortunate that we caught it at a time where we couldn't just repair game state to a point that I felt comfortable. So it is what it is. Spells, I played 2 system downs for ABC, obviously, 2 MSTs for the anti-spell or anything of that nature. Wonder Decky, board wipe, essentially, in case they had like Vanity's Fiends or anything. I was worried about Dark Lords. The traps, I played 2 barriers. Never really used this card. I think I'd much rather have had this card be Typhoon.
Typhoon?
Because I was more worried about the anti-spell. So, if anything, I may replace these with Typhoon. Because that card hurt me a lot more than anything my opponent could have done.
That's understandable.
The last 2 cards, I kind of threw in last minute. Chaos Trap Hole is a searchable card. I don't have to pay if I have Ariadne in scale. It's good against the ABC matchup. I actually, in top 8, used this to, when my opponent summoned a gadget, I just straight up Chaos Trap Hold it, and he had no other monster to get over it. So it pretty much won me my top 8. It was the only time I actually resolved and used it, because a lot of times I wanted to search for strike or warning.
So why don't you main deck Maxi?
The reason why is because the deck's 44 cards. I don't want a dead card like Max C in it, and I want to make this deck as consistent as possible with very little hands that I brick. With Max C, I didn't see a need to main it because there's not really a good time to play it in this meta right now. Because with Metalfoes, you could get just 1 draw off of it. Like, you have to hit them when they have to pursue their plays. With ABC, if you hit it on a gadget, they can just make the Suki play. You'll get 1 draw off of it. Well, I'll rephrase that. 1 draw after you regain the Max C draw, because you'll probably activate it on a gadget activation. So, and a lot of players I noticed when you Max C the gadget, you would replace the Max C draw, and they would just set their back rows and end their turn and let their gadget bring out another gadget. So I didn't want a card like that. Plus, I didn't want to play let me draw cards. I wanted to play prevent you from actually getting anything on board. So I didn't feel like Max C was going to be crucial at that point.
All right.